Implemented in 1994, the North American Free Trade Agreement was designed to facilitate increased trade between Canada, the United States, and Mexico, and involved a process of economic liberalization through the elimination of trade barriers between the three nations. Under NAFTA, things such as tariffs and duties were done away with, although a system of quotas for some types of goods still exists. On the whole, trade has certainly increased, although some question who is exactly benefiting from this example of economic globalization. In recent years, issues and conflicts have arisen within and between the member nations. Cooperation has been strained, and politicians and citizens alike have called for a re-examination or renegotiation of the agreement. NAFTA is the world's largest free trade area, connecting a region that is home to 444.1 million people. The smallest portion of that number comes from Canada, whose country only contains 33.3 million people, compared to the United States' 304.1 million and Mexico's 106,000.7 million. NAFTA has opened many doors for Canada. Roughly 1 in 5 jobs in Canada is linked to international trade. A good portion of this is due to the agreement. Since its entrance into the North American Free Trade Agreement, Canada's trade, especially its exportations of automotive, machinery, and industrial goods, have grown substantially. Canada ships 87% of its trade exports to the United States and receives 63% of good imports from the United States. Agricultural trades in Canada have been increasing heavily since the beginning of NAFTA. Canada is the #1 market for United States agricultural exports. The average annual growth rate of United States agricultural product exports to Canada since 1994 is 5.1%, while the rest of the world is only 1%. Although NAFTA has strikingly increased Canada's export and trade revenue, not everyone has been raking in the benefits brought in by the agreement. Many Canadians believe that their country is too dependent on the United States as a primary source of their economy. It is shown that as the United States economy grows and becomes more powerful, so will Canada's. But what if the opposite effect was to occur? Canada has already begun to see negative side effects to NAFTA. Over 398,000 Canadian jobs have been lost since 1994 due to NAFTA-related ordeals. Big exporting companies have seen increases in employment, but other small industries are rapidly decreasing. Other side effects include environmental issues that Canada is now facing due to reduced tariff trading. The constant importation and exportation of goods is creating a massive amount of air pollution due to the transfer of goods across borders. Also, the large corporations that manufacture trading goods are creating vast amounts of waste that are beginning to create a fear of tainted water supplies in Canada. Not only is the manufacturing and transportation of trade supplies causing negative effects on the environment, but there has also been an increase in the amount of natural resources harvested out of Canada for trade. The average income growth under the free trade has become the worst performance of any comparable period since World War II, and income inequalities have grown for the first time since the 1920s. The rate of Canadian farm bankruptcies and delinquent loans is 5 times of that before NAFTA. The grain and dairy farmers have been dealing with rapid rising debts since agricultural prices have plummeted, farm incomes have collapsed, and the safety net programs of domestic agriculture have fallen apart. International free trade and domestic policies have mainly only benefited large agricultural businesses, while the majority of farmers and consumers have lost.